Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining. I'm going to continue work on our kind of imaginary creature that we made up last week. I think it was called we originally looked at a little line drawing of a loris, I think it was. And we're kind of switching it up. I did a little bit of a sketch earlier to kind of do some layout, and I think we'll work on that. Yeah, so this guy we just kind of had a lot of fun with. We added like the hat / jester's crown thing on Thursday, and now I'm kind of working out, and these fun little guys here. Now I'm working out kind of what he's going to be sitting on. I didn't want him on one thing because I wanted kind of that element that this could all fall apart. So I put him on two different animals that are kind of moving in different directions. I thought that kind of made more sense, or less sense, depending on how you look at it. Things that make less sense make more sense to me, if that makes any sense at all. Anyways, okay. So I'm going to do what I'm better at, which is drawing than talking, and just get started. So I kind of sketched, I was thinking about the negative space in here and what would go well in that space. So kind of that hump on the bison, I was like, oh, that's perfect kind of for this already shape that was here. And then this impala here, just because they're kind of fast, nimble creatures, and I thought it adds a little element of danger here to have something that's so fast and can move so quick and nimble, and this big humanoid creature. Hi, Chef Bags. Good to see you. How are you? So we'll get started. I just hold my back door. Oh, your work week starts today? Is your schedule changed again? Oh. Are you gonna be able to log on and keep me company? Or I'll just be talking to myself? That's okay, I understand. My schedule's wacky too. I always plan to be on here by like 10 or 11, and then it's noon and I'm just getting to streaming. I actually remembered to put my rubber gloves on this time before I started. So I'm getting better. Seriously, it does, right? I try to text my friends a lot and just memes, like funny memes, and one of them was, I tried this adulthood thing and I'd like to, return it. It's not working out as planned. I feel like that too a lot. There's just so much we try to get done, and you're a parent, you got 3 girls. I can't even imagine like how your time is just crazy busy. It seems like with 3 growing girls, time's gonna be a hard thing to find, but I'm sure you could do it. Yeah, but relationships, man, that's tough. That's another. I'm sure when you start dating, it's gonna take a lot of time commitment and all that too. And then you have to leave your house. That's my problem, is I never want to leave here. I only go to the gym, the grocery store, or for hikes, and that's like, those are my ways to get out. So if you're doing more than that, you're better off than I would be in your position. This hoof does not look good. It looks a little bit wonky. See if I can fix that. There we go, that looks a little bit better. Oh, wrong side of the eraser. There we go. You know what? It sounds like my back door is open. Give me a second. I just want to make sure Cat didn't get out. No, back door is not open. It's the dryer. I'm washing my shin guards in there, and it's like making this squeaky noise. It's probably too much information, but it sounded like the back door open. These kind of humanoid-y hand things here might have to change a little bit to look like they're gripping. Although I might be able to work the contours of the buffalo around the hands versus the other way around. I like doing this kind of stuff. It's like a little mental drawing puzzle. Makes my brain work a little bit harder. There we go, that might work. Oh yeah, it's totally the shin guards. I can hear them in there. I don't know if you can hear it scooting around in the dryer. Adding just like a little bit of shadow under these fingers, but I'm not making a commitment yet because I'm just doing with the Q-tips. I like the mental stress of what? Hello, El Curry. Yes, I did. Actually, from last time, I was like, you can't just leave it alone because I got issues with empty space. So I thought it would be kind of fun to put him, instead of sitting on one animal like I normally do, kind of stack them. I did two, so it would be funnier if they kind of like walked away and this guy would fall. Because he's kind of a king, so I think it's funny if they fall. Oh, in general. No, I don't like mental stress in general. That's why I would be no good for dating or getting out there. Because everything makes me go nuts, except drawing and exercising. Those are the only two things that don't make me go nuts. I gotta figure out what I'm doing back here too. I was like just sketching out some ideas, so there's like 10 ideas like mixed up in here. I was so lucky a couple years ago. I was working at the Boise Art Museum, and I got to come out to do the installation, and then I stayed out there. We rented a car and we drove all around Montana, and we went to Yellowstone and we saw all the bison. It was in the spring and there were baby bison everywhere. Oh, I'll never forget it. It was so amazing. We saw a couple bears, but we're very cautious and made sure that we were in our cars away from the bears. One we even bumped into on accident, was just driving from the place we're staying at, and it was just hanging out. But to see these creatures, like, oh, in beautiful Yellowstone and the surrounding areas. It's pretty magical. And then you see the jerks that are out there like taking photos and selfies with them, and you're like, what are you doing? I'm just chattering to myself. But there's these crazy people out there, and they don't respect them at all. And they're out there like, there's a herd of bison with their babies, so you have to imagine they must be a little bit more cautious when they have their babies with them, like taking selfies and getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And there's like no respect whatsoever that it's not an amusement park ride, you know, that these are wild animals and, you know, they deserve some respect and some space. But man, I talked to some of the rangers and they're like, you won't believe what people do. And then we see in the news every once in a while somebody gets gored and everyone's like, what? And I could totally see how that would happen. And I was only there for about 5 days, and I must have seen 20 times where somebody could have gotten in really big trouble with the bison if they decided to charge. Yeah. So I'm just kind of toning out this guy's rear end, seeing if I can make it work with this Impala. And in real life, obviously, I think the bison would be maybe 2-3 times larger than the Impala, but those rules don't matter to me. So I wanted to like kind of mix it up a little bit. I got to work on this guy's foot here. There we go. Now I forget, he's got a tail, so I got to make some consideration here into what I'm going to do with that tail. I wonder if I can have it kind of sitting on his head here. Let's see how that looks. So it comes around and kind of sits. Oh, you know what? I bet if I made his horns wider, I could have it kind of... These are not accurate bison horns, but that's okay. Accuracy is kind of boring sometimes. It comes down, maybe it comes down like that, and it go over. Over. Let's have it kind of, oh, so many options with this tail. Let's leave it just kind of hanging out there until I figure out what I want to do with that tail. There we go. Kind of on the bison's head, curling around. He doesn't have to have a tail, but I'm kind of liking some options we might have with that later. I'm gonna roll this up because it's making a dragging noise. Here we go. Ah, does it make you nervous racing? Well, I figure worst case, I can always fix it later. It's just a matter of realizing that it's going to leave a mark behind, so I'm going to have to be extra creative and extra kind of problem solving to cover the marks it leaves behind, basically. I'm making this tail just a little bit wider. So this bison is now a different type of bison with a really long extended horn. You know what? I'm going to leave this part a little bit lighter because I think there's going to be something here. This worked out well, like how his foot's sitting, or how his thumb is sitting kind of on the back of this bison there. And I can play around with these fingers a little bit more with the shadows. Maybe look like it's folding a little bit more than it is, and play around with it just a little bit. Oh shoot, they're knocking on the door. Hold on, 1 second. sorry, the guys in the back wanted me to reheat their lunch. So I just got something on the stove. I'm reheating it for them real quick. And I'll don't want to touch anything because I actually got whatever soup they had on my hands. I'm so sorry. Oh, the hand draws the eyes down the page. They do, right? Because of that kind of, they're so angular. I'm going to really work on making them feel, though, like they're sitting on. Right now, I think it's only the thumb that fits like it's sitting on the bison. So I'm going to work a little bit more on that hand. And I think what will be cool, too, is when I draw this tail, like it's going to come, and that's going to bring you this direction. So it's going to move the composition this way. And I'm going to add something over here. I just don't know what it's going to be yet. So I'm always taking into consideration that. But you're right, the way that these fingers are so like this, they're really pulling you different directions. But I think when the hat thing, I don't want to touch this, is done too, that's going to be pulling you kind of up and around like this too. So there's a lot of different kind of compositional cues pulling you around this drawing. Give me like 2 minutes. Let me finish heating up this guy's soup, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, these guys on the couch. Well, oh, was the orange cat in here? Did I just miss him? We got Ozzy here, and the other, I don't know where the two cats are. Ozzy's wearing his pretty snazzy, because it's been so cold here. Check out his snazzy outfit. Ozzy, show me your outfit. It's got skulls on it. He's like, I was napping. Okay, he's here. Back to nap time. Sorry for disturbing you. Yeah, these guys are the laziest bunch. Like, he's like settling back into his pillow. The cats were asleep in my room a few minutes ago. But, they're sneaky. And they do like to sit on the dogs, especially the tabby cat. Oh, he is. He's like a rag doll. Yeah, you can carry him around like a baby. He loves it. When we go hiking, there's tons of coyotes around here, so I don't let him really go on the trail. Maybe at the beginning of the trail for a few minutes, and then I have a backpack, and he can just, like, put his feet on your shoulders and look around. And was made to be carried around like that. He is not a working dog or an athletic animal. He just wants to be around people. And Rufus in his younger days, the big boxer, he was a big hiker. Him and my pit bull Biscuit, who passed almost 3 years ago now, she was my hiking companion because she had her own little backpack and she loved water. She could hike all day long. She was really loving being out on the trails. Rufus likes it, but not as much as Biscuit did. Oh yeah, they were spoiled. Yeah. Figure if you're gonna have pets, might as well. Well, to me, they're all kind of like family. I'm here all day, and until I get my daughter from school, it's just me and the pets. See if I could get these fingers a little bit more rounded. Maybe when I get my camera set up in the back when they're done with the construction, and show you my horse, William, who lives in the backyard. He's over 30 years old, so he's super old horse, and he's got this weird hoof disease, and so he has to wear these special tennis shoes, and they're pretty snazzy looking. And when he wears his tennis shoes, they have like orthotics in it. He's really comfortable, so he's not really in any discomfort from this hoof problem that he has. And it's so cute because he has these kind of like, he's got 2 pairs of these horse tennis shoes. They're kind of crazy, but it works. Yeah, I'm hoping, I think I could figure it out in the new space, like how to get some footage of that horse. He's the best. I don't ride anymore. It's been a long time, a couple of years since I've ridden him, but we go for leisurely strolls and we go for light hikes in case his foot starts to act up or it gets too hot, or he's got lots of. I don't like to put him in a situation where he could get sick or get poorly injured or worse, I could see how you would be picturing that. And that would be hilarious. They're kind of like, I want to show you. I'll draw a picture of it. I could do that. Here, let me sketch it up here. So they kind of look like, so here's his foot, and then, it goes down like this, and then there's his hoof right there. So he's got something called a keratoma, which is like a permanently abscessed hoof. So like this part here of his hoof is like, the bone here is rotated, so it creates like a chronic abscess, so it has to be drained all the time. So I soak his foot in Epsom salt, and then I take him for a walk, and I put on these shoes. So they go over his foot kind of like this. So they fit around like this, and they go over the top. So it's like, he looks like he's got these giant feet because it fits, like, here's his real hoof. And down here, on the bottom part here, this is orthotics. I don't know, it's not orthotics, whatever. This is orthotics here. And then it like wraps with Velcro here, and it's got these 2 bands that go like this, like Velcro. So you pull the Velcro through and tighten it. So it's kind of like those old Velcro shoes, probably that we both had when we were growing up, like that. So it looks really hilarious because now you've got these big old clown shoes on, and here's like his little leg coming up out of him, like that. And one pair is all black, but the other pair is black with red. So it's really, it looks more tennis shoey than that. So that's basically what he has to wear. And he wears them 24 hours a day. I just switch between the two pairs. Between soaking and draining the abscess, I put those tennies on him, and he's just really comfortable in them. And is not showing any signs of distress from the disease or anything like that. But 80s basketball shoes would be better. High tops. Yeah, it actually sounds more, it's like just more of like a muffled. So his back feet are just barefoot, so you hear the normal, and it's more of like a, instead of like a clicking sound, it's more of just like a thud. Because it's like got a really heavy kind of rubber lug insole, like thick tread, you know, on it. It's like a muffled, instead of clip clop, it's like clip thud, like that. But there's a couple horses in the neighborhood that wear shoes like that because not everybody wants to put horseshoes on their shoes. They want them barefoot in their yard, but on the concrete and up in the trails here, they're really rocky. So if you can have like a good fitting pair of shoes on your horse, you don't necessarily have to shoe your horse. So there are people that wear them just to go riding in the trails and on the street. Oh yeah. I mean, when he first got the disease, I was super upset because he was really uncomfortable and he could barely walk, and the abscess had pushed up through his hoof wall. So where his hoof hit, it like blew up, like just stuff started coming out, and so I was super upset because I'm like, this horse is so uncomfortable. But after a couple months and then doing research and talking to different vets and specialists, we kind of figured out this plan of draining the abscess before it could pop out the top. Because if it can't come out the bottom, it's going to come out the top. And that's super painful. So we've been, with the Epsom salt and this kind of like draining that I've been doing every day, sounds kind of gross, but I'm really good at draining abscesses. It's kept the pressure from blowing out the top. So now the vet just came and said he's not showing any signs of lameness from the abscess anymore with the shoes on, because it keeps that concussion from hitting. So whatever cocktail what I'm doing, it's keeping him comfortable, and that's all you can ask for like a 30-plus-year-old horse, is to keep them quality of life as high as possible. So I'm happy with his treatment, and I think he's got a good quality of life still. But that's not an issue. But man, horses. My hidden talents. I'm really good at draining abscesses. I didn't want to brag, but between all the pets I've had, and they're all rescues, and they're all had some terrible something or other, abscesses, I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can drain an abscess. There was a time back in college where I was like, I'm going to go be a vet. But that obviously wasn't in the cards. But I'm still getting my chance to do lots of mend work on animals. Oh, good question. So I'm using a 4B now. What I was using in the beginning was this one. I was using a B, which is the kind of most line quality one of the pencils. There's B, 2B, 4B, and 6B. So that's kind of what I start off. It's the lightest of the pencils as well. So I started off with that one. I did a lot of it. But what I was doing to give it a lot of that tone was using the Q-tip to kind of spread around the pencil that I had. So there's just a lot of tonal work on this, not a lot of line work. So this is all right in here, still tone. There's not really line work in there. This is all kind of line work I'm working on here, but I'm using that Q-tip to kind of spread it out. And now that my Q-tip is loaded, I can use it. So figure out where I want the eyes to be on this bison, where I want its kind of bridge of its nose to be. So before I even do really any pencil marks on it, I'm using that tone and kind of pushing it around with this Q-tip. Like that. Hi MoCap, welcome. Thank you for joining. We've got some progress since, what day is it? Thursday, since Tuesday. Added some more characters in here. And we're just working on kind of the texture on the bison and making these feet on this kind of crazy character that we made up kind of sitting on this bison. And there's going to be there's some issue here with, I'm either going to make it look like this hump is folding back here, like the weight of his leg is kind of like pushing it down, or I'm going to maybe overlap this hump over that leg a little bit more. So let's see. If I was to make the hump, his like bison back hump thing go over it, this is kind of what it would look like that. Or if I want to push it the other direction and kind of just make it seem like he's sitting directly on this hump and it's folding it here, and then the shadow kind of comes in here like it's folding it over. Those are kind of my two options for that tail hump corner in here. I've exaggerated it. They do have kind of like this where their shoulder blades are, but this is almost to the point of a camel, which is fun. Oh, thank you. I've been working on it just a little bit. Not live streaming, but just when I have some time in the afternoon, but it's too hectic here to be streaming that part of my life. I think I liked it better the other way. Now put the tail back here, take away some of that, and bring his back up there. Let me see how that looks if I work on that just a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that better. Switching back and forth from the B and the 4B. Well, that makes it look really like a camel. Oh, good. Do you like it better with it this way, or with the hump over the leg or under the leg? This is very much like a protruding hump, but I kind of like that it's very camel-like. And you can imagine the weight of this loris like sitting down on the rest of that back and like popping the other part up. And then I can continue to see a little bit of kind of that head neck area here that might give it a little bit more weight up in the front. Yes, over the leg. Okay, good, because I like it better this way too. So I'm going to carry some of the weight of the, this is going to take away a little bit of that extreme, like kind of camel hump thing going down. Do that. Yeah, and then we've got the fun tail going to come over, and it's going to go behind. It's going to go down, and this needs to be moved. This is not. Let's see. This is to come down like this. This is going to come more like this. Maybe we want it kind of coming down a little bit more. There we go. And then coming out this way. And now I'm going to leave it because there's going to be something going on here that I'm going to have to figure out. Okay. Yeah, his foot's starting to fit in here better now. He's making, got some more weight. And I have to remember too, there's another leg that's going to be somewhere. It either can be coming like this and maybe going onto the back side of this Impala, like it's like kind of attached to the outside rump area of this Impala. And I also have this other hand here that could be doing, I mean, it could be coming down and grabbing underneath this Impala. It could be, gosh, it could be even sitting up here, like sitting on the neck. Ooh, that might be good. I have it coming and kind of like weighing down the neck of this guy. It's sitting on the neck, and it would be kind of fun because it's keeping these fun little guys kind of in, like kind of like putting them into, like he's holding them like that. And I'm doing all this sketching with my Q-tip, so it's not leaving any marks, and it's going to be really easy for me to move things around. But let's work a little bit more on this bison before I tackle the next one. Let's get his face figured out just a little bit here. And again, this is just blending using a Q-tip. I'm not adding any tone to it. I'm actually just using the tone that I have. Bring a shadow kind of underneath in here. You can see that. I just use that to drag the shadow underneath. Okay, I'm using the 2B. I'm just kind of figuring out where things are going to be here. The eyes are the best part. I love drawing the eyes. Maybe I should zoom in so you can watch me draw the eyes. Here we go. Let me get a really sharp point on my pencil. Bison are going to have those kind of big bulges over their eyes, so you imagine it's going to kind of come up like that. It's going to kind of come like that on this side. And we would see probably just a little tip on that side. Maybe a little, right there, bulge of the eyeball. I'm going to bring this in, kind of like that. So we have his, oh, thanks. I love doing the eyes. It's my favorite. One eye here, big beautiful eyelashes, because all these mammals, they have big beautiful long eyelashes, and birds for that matter too. Got these little tiny feathers around their eyes sometimes. But here's the thing, I need to keep my pencil really sharp because this is a tiny detail. You can see how sharp I get that pencil right there. Kind of where his ear connects to his horn, and little hairs around his horn. What I like to do on these too is find kind of the center line. And I'd like to draw like a little line down it, because now I'm going to know kind of where everything's going to line up. I'll move my center line like right there. No, move my center line over a little bit. Like right, like that's going to be my center line right there. That's how I'm going to balance this. That little line I drew through there. And I got distracted by the tail of this guy. So when I draw like a circular, I like to follow kind of the direction of the form. So this guy's like, what is on my back? So I want those big bulges over his eye to stand out, so I'm going to shade around the top of it. They do look kind of girly, huh? They're Betty Davis eyes, for sure. Yeah, he's got real gentle, kind eyes with long eyelashes. I think of these two, you would assume this one would be more of the masculine animal and this one would be more feminine, because this one's a little bit more dainty and they're like finer features, but I'm gonna switch it around and this one's gonna have more of this like substantial, more masculine, and this one's gonna have more of this kind of like really sweet, more kind of subdued. I'll mix it up a little bit. Giving him kind of this little head part's usually much darker than the face, so I'm giving it a little bit of contrast now. I'm just making little marks. Yeah, like a gentle giant. I'm always so fascinated by those animals that are huge and they're so amazingly gentle. Like the whale sharks that you can swim with and they wouldn't hurt a soul, and giant elephants and even giant draft horses, you know, that you see sometimes, or we have them around here and they're so big and intimidating and they're so sweet. And then there's some ponies around here that'll just like kick and trample you, and they're these cute little ponies and you're like, oh my gosh, so deceiving. There's also a lot of sweet ponies too, but I am constantly reminded that ponies can be really feisty. This is kind of the hair that's going to be all over this part of the bison. Sorry, I just gotta check and see what time. I forgot what time my daughter's or the dentist appointment was. At 2:50. Okay. She gets her braces off today. They just called and said her retainer came in, so she doesn't know. I'm gonna pick her up a few minutes early before school gets out and surprise her and take her to get her braces off. She's gonna be so excited. And I'm trying to figure out what I should make for dinner that she can't really eat with her braces, but she ate everything with her braces. Nothing seemed to stop her. And I kept saying they're gonna break, and she didn't break, so I don't know. It's a good celebratory meal for a kid that just gets her braces off. That's vegan and healthy. That's the caveat. There you go. Let me zoom out so you can start seeing kind of how it looks. They get these big, beautiful black noses. They're like the whole end of their mouth. It's just so cool. I'm going to darken this whole nose in. I'm going to lose some of the detail. That's okay because I'm going to bring it back in. I'm going to give him a nice big bison beard. Okay, yeah, there's a couple of reasons why they're continually breaking off. Depending on how, and this is what I've learned over years of buying them, however they got shipped to you, if you bought them from the store, if there was rough handling of the pencil before you even get it, it breaks the lead like inside. So like, you know, it like, say they drop the box or it's been shaking, it like literally will chop up the pencil from the inside. And as you're sharpening it, chunks will just fall out. And I find that sometimes when I have them shipped to me, they're like loose in a box, and those always break up, break when I sharpen them. So now I try to get them directly from the store where I think they're probably packaged a little bit better. And I try not to drop them or do anything, especially the 4Bs and 6Bs. I feel like they're especially hard to get a point. Oh, you got them from Amazon. That could be it. I think it has to do with how they're treated in shipment and how much shaking and vibration happens when they're being shipped. I don't always succeed when I new ones. Sometimes I'll just order them on a whim, and sometimes it's good. It depends a lot on how they packaged it. So that's probably your big problem. And I use different little, but I only use the handheld ones. I've tried all the machines and everything, but they keep breaking. And these are called Stabilo sharpeners. I even get the really cheap ones I used to use when I was a teacher too. The only thing is they're not good forever. So when they're not good anymore, I donate them. When they don't give me the sharpest of the points, then I'll donate them and bring out a new one to get the sharpest of sharp points. So I think that's probably your big problem though, is how they're getting shipped to you and kind of the condition they're coming to you at. They're super delicate inside, so it could look great on the outside. And another thing to look for too, if you're looking in a package of them and they're in the plastic, and they're all lined up, and there's 4 of them, there's a B, a 2B, a 4B, and a 6B, and they're all lined up. Look at the package. If they're already like broken off in it, yeah, that's what it is. So they're already broken in the pencil, in the plastic. That means they already got beat up. Somehow they've been dropped or they've been, and if you're at the store, don't buy that package. Get ones where the points, because they come sharpened, get ones where the points are all intact. That's my best suggestion for them. I've gone through many a pencil issue with that. I even write notes now if I'm going to order them online and I get like a ton of them. I write, well, like wrap appropriately, put foam around the pencils, in the special notes part of it. Because now I'm like, I'm not going to buy 500 pencils and, 300 of them are beat up. I don't have that kind of time to sharpen them all either. Let me think. Excuse me. Sorry. When you get them from the Blick catalog, when I was a teacher, I used to have a Blick account. They wrapped them better than Amazon did. So you might, if you want to order some more, you might want to try them and then leave special notes for it to be wrapped appropriately for pencils. Yeah, I mean, try it. I don't know if there's any way for you to get to an actual art supply store. For me, sometimes it's impossible too, but Swain's, well, I'm here in California, and we have Swain's and the Dick Blick store that you can actually physically go into, and they carry the Wolf's Carbon. So if I'm around that area, I'll go in and grab a couple boxes, but I'm always really careful to check and make sure they look perfect in the case, in the box. Now I'm starting to add just a little bit of line work here on the belly of this, on this bison. Just a little bit. And I'm even going to blend some of it out. Okay, I think this is a good place to leave off. We're pretty much done with the bison at this point. Let me see if I can scooch this back so you can see it all. There we go. Oh, that did not help at all. No, that was not useful at all. Okay, well, I am a work in progress. We'll just zoom up so you can see this guy. So I think next week we'll continue working on this. I might try to add a little bit more so we can get a little bit more progress before then. But other than that, if you've got any questions, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, or join me next week. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I know how valuable time is, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.